Hello and welcome to this episode of Animasaurus. I'm really excited for this episode because we're going to take a look at the short film that's just been released to the public called Noria. Let's take a look. There are a few things about this film that make it really exciting, which we're just going to run through really quickly. First thing I want to talk about is it is a collaboration effort. While the main person leading it is K.A.T.E, who comes from an ILM Pixar background, so he's been an animator to start off with. He's worked in that for, I think he worked there for a number of years, but he's also a part of the animation mentor team to help that kick off and get started. So he's been a key part of the recent animation industry. As he goes through a couple of his interviews, he goes, he just got to a point where while his craft was, at its highest level, he wanted to take control of the projects he was working on, which led him to then starting to look at other things to do, which is why a short film was something where he had complete control over it, and he could use his skills which he'd acquired over the past years and then focus them in a new direction which he wanted to try and explore, which is really exciting. I really appreciate his work, and stepping away from something which is the big names in animation like Pixar and ILM. Stepping away from that can be daunting, and standing on your own 2 feet, for anyone is really daunting to be able to step out and go, you know what, I'm going to step away from the establishment and I'm going to try something which I'm just passionate about. So I'm like a Carlos Bayana cheer squad going, excellent, well done, I really appreciate the stuff that you've done. But of course, with a short film, another person that got on board with the project really early was Sasha Corellis. Now, Sasha's been around the industry for 10, 12 years, working in visual effects and animation, and she's dealt with short films as well. So it's really important to start off, especially with short films, to have a core group of people who are passionate about the project which is being produced. Now, another thing about Noria that was really important was the theme. So Carlos, coming from the big houses, he was always restricted by themes that were being presented to him, so he couldn't direct them in the way that he really wanted to, which is why now, coming onto a short film, he's been able to go, you know what, I want to take control of this, and I want to do something which isn't really thought about that much for animation. So he's taken it, he wanted to do something that was more directed towards an adult audience, and he wanted to do something that was in the horror genre. So that was his real starting point to get this project off the ground, was to be clear about where it was going and what he wanted, which is really good because it comes across when you watch it. The next thing which I got really, really excited by, which I wanted to talk about a little bit, is about the production of this film. Because this particular short is a non-standard sort of production. In interviews, Carlos has talked about, investigating early on. He approached a couple of studios to find out, what sort of cost it would be to get the studio to do the film the way that he wanted it. And, he sort of found that he would have to be, summing up a small fortune to actually fund what was technically just his own project. So the first thing he realized he needed to do was to raise some money from a few interviews that Carlos has done. He said, after the first 2 years, he'd basically ran out of his own money, which he could put into this production. So he needed to raise some more funds. He had some awesome artwork, and to start off with, they ran an Indiegogo campaign, which got quite a bit of traction, which was great, because then from that, that raised enough money for him to be able to keep going with the project. The next piece of the puzzle for Noria and Carlos was how to actually go about making the film. Again, working for Animation Mentor and working closely with Bobby Beck, they'd been working on the K.A.T.E platform already, which is really exciting, because if you've never heard of K.A.T.E, it's a virtual production studio. But of course, it's still really young and in its infancy, so it was a great platform for for Carlos to be able to test out and prove that productions can be made through it to a high quality. Because that was another part of what he was really passionate about, was to keep the film at a real high level so that it did stand out, because that's what he was used to with, you know, Pixar and ILM, was the quality standard. So he wanted to produce a quality horror adult focused short film, and he was going to do it through, you know, untried and unproven direction for a production, but he was definitely passionate about making it this way. You know, again, coming from Animation Mentor, they're used to working with students remotely. You know, they've done this sort of field before where you can work like that. So this was not completely new, but for a complete production, it was new. Now, Lenora, you know, it took a long time. It took 8 years for a passion project to come together, which is a long time from someone to actually put so much effort and focus into getting something out. So, you know, I've definitely got to give Carlos and the team credit for hanging in there and making what their original vision was and how it come together and shaped and shifted to become what it is. But with any short film as well, the thing that is not really, you know, most people would say it's not the most important thing, but something that really gives, especially the creative team, you know, value in what they've done, is then the recognition and the response from the film coming out when it's released. So over the last year, they've been putting Lenora in a lot of short film festivals. And what they've found is that again and again, it's been coming up with great recognition, great feedback from audiences, getting audiences awards, as well as getting high awards from the shows and the festivals that it's in as well. So I'm really happy for the guys to go, you know what, well done. I'm like a cheer squad for them, going, you know, being able to do something to such a high standard and get the recognition for the work you've put in. I'm like, congratulations, definitely go see it. So if you've got this far in the video, you can probably tell that I'm going to give this video 5 scary faces. Look, it is, with all the anticipation, I was looking forward to this. You know, the quality that they have achieved going through a virtual production, with the people that have all worked on it, because all the artists have done, you know, you can see that there's a great lot of heart and a lot of work gone into this short film, and it really shows that it's brought together. You know, production value is fantastic. Production itself for a production proof of pipeline is fantastic. So hopefully this is encouraging. I hope this is encouraging for other short filmmakers to really look at, you know, Artella as a platform to be able to then go, you know what, we can produce awesome stuff through that. And, you know, it is definitely recognized and it's really good. For me then, I can't wait to see what Carlos then now applies himself to, because this is going to be a great stepping stone for future work. So thanks for sticking around and checking out Lenora with me. Please check out other videos on the side that'll come through, or check out Lenora if you haven't seen it in the links below.